Hi everyone, today we're going to try another music album discussion. And once again, One Idol represent! We're going to do another one of One Idol's albums, and that one is Monster. Monster was brought out in 2008, but it was remastered. In 2013, it was brought out at Christmas time. And well, this is the remastered version that I have in my hands right now. And this is the front. This is the inside of the album. And this is the back side of the album. Just like the other video, what we're going to do is I'm going to listen off screen to the songs, and with every song I'm going to tell a bit what I know, like research like about the song and what I think about the song. And I once again invite you to tell me what you think of the song, if you like it or not, and what it means to you. And maybe some other facts that I haven't uncovered yet in my research. Let's get started. First, I want to tell you the differences between the Monster album and the remastered album. The remastered album starts with an introduction, which is a live recording from Alrosa Villa, it says on the back. Where Kimberly and Junior introduce themselves, who they are. Whereas on the Monster album from 2008, the first song was an actual song that was We're One Idol. That song comes back on the remastered album, but is the last song on the album. Also, this remastered album has a cover on it that wasn't on Monster from 2008, and that is called I Am a Viking. Also, the second song on the Monster album is in both albums, Be My Friend, but the Be My Friend on the remastered album is totally different than the Be My Friend from the Monster from 2008. Other than that, the track list is completely the same. In this video, I'm going to be following the track list from the remastered album. So we start with the introduction, and the introduction starts with the intro to Suicidal Serenade, which is the first song of the whole album, as you may know by now if you watch my other video. Then it goes on with an introduction done by Kimberly, where she introduces herself and Junior and where they're from, kinda. At the end of introduction, they introduce Be My Friend, which is the next song of this album. Be My Friend has always been one of the more popular songs of the Monster album. On the Monster album from 2008, it's a very heavy, dark, gruesome song with heavy guitars. But in contrast to that, the voice of Kimberly is very sweet, very cute, and the lyrics are like, they are so cute, it's getting kind of creepy. Because it's a song about murder, you would say. It's a very contradicting song. What they did with the song, they updated it. It's more upbeat, it's more quick, and it has the guitars are less heavy, it's more cute sounding, and it really makes it even more creepy to me. But is that all it is? Is it just a song about serial killers that are people too and they want to be friends? Actually, no. Kimberly Freeman has been quoted in saying that actually it's a metaphor on interpersonal relationships. Treat people well, or you may find yourself all alone. I think that's very intriguing that a song that sounds so cute and sounds so silly actually has such a deep meaning to it. Kimberly's songs and One Idol songs actually all have this deeper meaning that sometimes it's hard to see because it's so cute and silly, like I said. And this song is a very good example of that. Brief Candle has a lot of versions. You should try to search them out yourself. They are countless. Each verse of the song seems to describe a different story, a different person, but it all boils down to happiness is only momentarily and it can wither away at any moment, but so can sadness. Sadness is just a brief candle, and that candle burns away quickly. And it's not enough for just a momentarily sadness to do something, to perform an act, to do something that will change everything that is yet to come. Hang in there and let it pass. Both the happiness and the sadness. The first verse describes the happiness that is fleeting. But like the happiness is temporary, also the sadness is temporary. That is what the second verse is trying to tell you. It's a horror story, but it is something of the past. It is temporary and it will not stay a horror story forever. It will not stay a dream forever. It will change over time. And in the chorus of the song, she says that no matter what life throws her way, she will go on, if it's either happiness or sadness. The third verse describes the soldiers that come back from a war. They may have won the war, but it's not a win for them because they are the casualty. Even though they have survived, inside they are dead because they've seen such horrible things. And the last verse describes the love story, that you may fall in love with somebody, but they will just leave you without any good reason. So that you need to remember that that could also be temporary. UFO is a song that has a lot to do with history. The song starts with a quote from Christopher Columbus: "Following the light of the sun, we left the old world." Christopher Columbus is the guy who discovered America. That's as far as I know anything about history. The quote means that he sailed on towards the sun and he discovered a new world by leaving his old world. The first verse tells that Christopher Columbus entered America, what is now America, and it was a new place with new people, the Indians, and he thought that the Indians were disgraces. The chorus is just a repeat of friend or foe, UFO. And that means that the Indians, they weren't sure what these new people were that invaded their land. It was alienating to them. When Christopher Columbus and his men entered America, they brought a disease with them, and that's what the third verse is about. They brought a disease to a new land that didn't know that disease yet. Pretty please on your knees means that probably the disease was that bad that it kind of wiped out the Indians. Between these choruses, there are quotes from Adolf Hitler, and I may not know much about history, but I do know about Adolf Hitler. The quotes that are used are: "Demoralize the enemy from within by surprise, terror, sabotage, assassination. This is the war of the future." This is a quote that Adolf Hitler actually said. This is the war of the future means that they use new techniques to do their bad deeds. Then there is a quote that is from the book of Adolf Hitler, Mein Kampf. And that quote is: "I believe today that my conduct is in accordance with the will of the Almighty Creator," which basically says that he thinks that he is right in doing what he is doing. And probably Christopher Columbus thought that it was right what he was doing. He was discovering new land. But in the end, it wasn't good for the Indians. Bulimia is a song about, you guessed it, bulimia. But seriously, bulimia is a very horrible disease that, if you don't know what bulimia is that you're trying to eat a lot and then go, this is like a stereotype. So I am not an expert in any way, but it's, you try to eat a lot and then you go to the restroom and you put your finger in your throat and you throw it up again. Don't do that. Really. Girls usually, but could also be boys, they do that to try to lose weight because they think they are not skinny enough. Which is pretty sad because everybody is beautiful in their own way. And this song beautifully describes the sadness that is inevitably connected with this disease. That she talks about macaroni and eating that, so that's the eating, but she also talks about tears and snot, which happens if you cry, and it's just, this combination is really powerful how she describes that. The story of Roses has been told in the One Idol documentary. You should watch that story of Roses and you'll understand the entire song. It's basically about Kimberly being hassled by some guys, and she had received some roses before. So she smacked the vase with roses over the head of the guy that was hassling her. In the first verse, it's blood red roses. That's because she smacked the vase over the head and the guy had started to bleed. The second verse, in Deep Ellum, Deep Ellum was the area in which it happened. So, but also in Deep Ellum is like the rose starting to grow, which is beautiful. Zombies, Won't You Smell My Roses? It was a party, like a kind of Halloween kind of party, where everybody was dressed like as witches and zombies. And there was also fake blood everywhere, so it looked much, much more worse than it actually was. And Sirens singing For My Roses. The cops came, obviously, because she knocked somebody over the head, and the sirens was what she heard. Roses is pretty easily explainable if you just listen to the story from the documentary. Plumes of Death is in one of those songs that I have a very hard time explaining it, but I'll give my 2 cents. The song seems to speak out a sense of urgency. Like, it's a very quick song. It keeps repeating words, falling, I'm drowning, I'm drowning. They try to get up, they try to get themselves free. You focus on yourself and you feel like you're falling and you're drowning and you're trying to get free, and it's a storm inside of your head that you're trying to get out. But when you get out, you may have done things that you're not happy with, and you'll be a shameful person. You'll have hurt others to get there. Fight is a very depressing song in which she experiences some change in the world, that the world keeps on spinning and the world keeps on changing and updating, and she feels like she can't understand, she can't reach that, she can't go along with the changes, and she feels like, am I the crazy one for not being able to cope with those changes? Am I crazy for thinking that everything is changing and that it shouldn't change? And these thoughts are so depressing that she feels like, well, I can't cope with the changes, so just let me die. Just shoot me. Pull the trigger, I won't fight. I am curious to see what you get out of the song, but this is what I get out of the song because it's basically me right now. So I might be kind of biased. Pretty song. Oh man, pretty song. This song tells about a relationship that Kimberly has been in with a guy that didn't really love her back, and she had some feelings for him, but she knew that he didn't return those feelings, and that's why she could never really love him. The guy was with her just the day before, but he broke up with her. Something has been going on, that this guy betrayed her in some way, he used her in some way, and he has thrown her away after he got what he wanted. Also, there's this little beautiful metaphor that she sees him as a predator while she is the prey. He is like this bird with huge talons that he sunk into her and then let go. But even though the talons are gone, the wounds are still there. And that hurts. But she is trying to console herself by saying, I couldn't really love you anyway. Even though you did this to me, and even though I had feelings for you, I already knew that you were using me. So that way it hurts less. But it still hurts. Pow is a Chinese song. Kimberly actually knows Chinese because she has been in China for a few years teaching English. She was an English teacher. I have here a translation by One Idol officially of the Chinese lyrics. The first lyric is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then it means something like, don't mess with me, you'll be sorry. Don't love me, you'll be sorry. Don't leave me, don't desert me. Pow! And pow means run. Don't mess with me, you'll be sorry. So what you can get out of that song is that you shouldn't mess with her or you'll be sorry. It kind of seems to give off a vibe of that she is like a dangerous woman, that if you try to get in on her, that she is going to hurt you in some way. So she's telling you to just run away from her and don't try. Monster is a poem that was the very first poem that Kimberly ever wrote. I personally thought she was 6 when she wrote it, but I read somewhere that she was 10 when she wrote it. Either way, she was very, very young. At first glance, it seems to be a song about a little girl that is afraid of monsters, like all kids have gone through a phase like that, right? I also heard that this song was kind of referring to her dad being the monster. I am not sure on that, but the song basically describes that she's laying in her bed and she hears the monster coming from the hallway outside to her door. And she is like, please don't open the door, please don't come in here. So it kind of seems like it is her dad, and that her dad may have hit her in some way at night or something like that. I especially like how the music fits the song, the lyrics, because she is very scared and she's trying not to make a peep. She's being very, very, very quiet, and there's also no music involved. It's just her voice, kind of trembling, kind of soft, kind of scared. And then when the monster enters the room, the music goes like crazy. It goes loud, it goes insane, and that's the fear that is coming out, and she is trying to run away from the monster and get out and fight it. And that's the music suits that. The music fits that to a T. That is like a really nice combination of music and lyrics. Ramblings of the Ungodly is exactly what it claims to be. It's a rambling about herself feeling ungodly. Basically, it's just a sense of feeling like life goes on, whether she wants it to or not. She's kind of there. She feels she's more ugly than lonely, because even though there are people around her, she still feels lonely. But ugly is like she thinks she's really ugly. And yeah, it's basically just what the lyrics say. And also the music is very sad that behind the lyrics. And it's a song that is not true, because Kimberly is freaking pretty. I Am a Viking is a cover by from Yngwie Malmsteen. One Idol really did an extraordinary job with that, because it doesn't even remotely sound like any One Idol song. Then again, One Idol doesn't really have a style. One Idol just does whatever they feel like, and that's awesome. I Am a Viking sounds at first glance like a song that would be like a children's book. They're like, it's a Viking and they're going out for an adventure. But I think there is a deeper meaning behind this. It's like someone feels like a Viking, feels like a warrior, and they are battling through life. They are just going at it, and on their dragon ship, they are just going through life with their sword in their hand, their metaphorical sword, and they are just going at it. They sail over the sea without fear. So it's just about fighting for your right and fighting for your life, and without fear. You are being brave, like a Viking. And also, as the shores of my home disappear, it could also be about traveling the world without fear, just going at it and experiencing all these new cultures and people. We should all be Vikings. Also, there's a certain part that says, "You're a fool, you don't know that I'm a Viking." It could also be like against bullying. Like, people have been bullying you, but now you've got stronger out of it and you're going against the world, showing that you bullied me, but look at how I am now. You didn't know that I was a Viking, but I am, and I am going to crush you. I said that every silly, funny song of One Idol has probably a deeper meaning, but I don't think this one has one. I would love to see what you guys come up with if you think that it does. But we're One Idol, and it's basically what it says. We're One Idol. It's like a song that you could play on the start of your show. One Idol, that name comes from her grandpa, Bernie Jones, and he has had one glass eye. And Bernie Jones was her inspiration, and that's why she named the band after him. It's the name of the future, because she want to get famous with her band together with Junior. There is a slight difference between the remastered version of We're One Idol and the monster from 2008 We're One Idol, namely that on the older version, at that time it was a band consisting of Kimberly and a drummer, and that drummer was called Number Three. It was someone else. So the song goes like, we're only a drummer, and Kimberly Number Three. you hear on the background. That is gone in the new song because it's not number 3 anymore, it's Junior. And with that, we have discussed the entire album that is Monster, remonstered in my case. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye bye!